Welcome back, everyone. Now, our next guest knew that she'd hit her weight limit when her scales could no longer register a reading.
But now Sigrid de Castella has lost an astonishing 70 kilos. Guess what? Without giving up chocolate. She joins us now. So, Sigrid, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Good
Your
morning.
scales had a limit of 143 kilos and you were once too heavy for them.
Yes, I actually read overload. They had a big OL on the screen. So I actually didn't know how much I weighed.
So, when did you know that it was just out of control?
That
was the
for
moment?
a long time, but that was the moment where I could no longer know what I weighed.
Yeah,
Right.
And so it was pretty frightening.
So how did you put the weight on in the first place, Sigrid?
Yeah, so I was actually a victim of child sexual abuse, and I started putting the weight on as a protective mechanism to prevent from being abused again, basically.
I see, yeah, right. And you're related to world champion marathon runner Robert de Castella. You came from an athletic family, didn't you? So did that make things harder for you?
Yeah, look, it was really hard and quite painful because I mean, not only was I related to him and people knew, but when they were introduced to me or saw my name on a credit card,
It's pretty remarkable name in this
we're
country,
all related.
Yeah.
So they would say, you know, are you related? And I'd say, yes, he's my cousin. And they'd sort of then there'd be this moment of silence, and they'd look me up and down and sort of go, oh, so what happened to you?
Right.
I knew that's what they were thinking.
You felt they were judging?
Yeah, and some people actually made the comment, you know, oh, so do you run? You know, as a joke.
That's hilarious.
Jeez, that's rough.
Yeah, it was pretty rough at the time, and I didn't, but I did later. I started running. So.
Right.
Everyone loves a comedian. Look, I want to talk about this one fact we've got here is that you did all this and you lost this extraordinary amount of weight. You did all yourself, but you didn't give up the chocolate.
Yeah, I didn't. When I started, I started looking at how much I was eating and looking at the number of calories, and what I discovered was I was eating about twice the amount of calories that I should have been eating, which made sense because I was twice the size. So I started monitoring and really cutting back the calories, but I would try and leave, you know, a couple of hundred calories at the end of the day so I could have a little fun size bar. So I couldn't, I didn't have to go cold turkey and giving up the chocolate. I could just wean off it a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I still eat a little bit of chocolate, not very often, but it tends to be cocoa nibs, so no sugar at all, and they're very bitter, but you still get the fantastic.
But what was the
antioxidant.
chocolate that kept you going?
Look,
For me, it's caramello koala.
Yeah,
In
look,
the little fun size bar.
Yeah, little fun
I'm
size.
afraid it was picnic.
Oh,
Yeah, the
good.
peanuts.
See, I think I'd go the bounty. I think I'd have to have a fun-sized bounty.
Queenslander.
Now, we've heard that you registered your blog, and the domain name is Half the Woman I Was.
Correct.
And you registered that before you reached your goal.
Yes.
So you were really confident, weren't you, that you were going to do
Yeah,
it?
I think I did it. The concept just came to me, and I really wanted to share my experience, provided I got there. So for me, it was a way of motivating me and making sure I stayed on track to actually doing what I'd set out to do. So, yeah.
But we just heard you talk before about all the negative Nancys and Nathans and all that stuff, making jokes and looking at you. So, but then you lose, you know, half your size. How do people react?
Well, I tell you, it's kind of funny because these were my old pants. So, I don't know if I can
Oh my
stand up and
God.
do that, but that was them.
Yeah.
So when you go from that size to half,
Yes.
people don't recognise you, and so. You know, there'd be a couple of things happen. One is that my husband, who was incredibly supportive, we'd go and see friends we hadn't seen for a while, and they'd say, oh, you've got a new wife. You know, that was the constant joke, you've got a new wife, because I look so different. And the other thing was that I could walk down the street and see somebody that I knew who didn't recognise me.
Yeah.
And I could decide whether to say hello to
something.
them or not, because they just, and there were
Based
lots
on
of,
how they treated you before.
correct. That's exactly right. So people that you know, maybe there was something not right there, I just kept walking past.
Do you know what, though? You should actually have made a point of saying hello to these people.
It's me.
Yeah,
I
Sigrid,
showed
you look
you. You're
absolutely
fantastic.
$1,000,000. I mean, we're looking at these pictures of you now. The blog is called Half Her Size.
Half the Woman I Was.
Half the Woman I Was.
And
I'm
there's
sorry.
the
A book of the blog now?
The book. So I wrote this to actually be able to share with people my story and how I did it so other people could do it as well.
Totally inspirational.
Good on you.
Yeah,
All
thanks
that
so
giving up the
much.
picnics.
No, you can still have the picnic.
Still had, I live for those
The little one.
chocolates, yeah.
Thank you so
Thanks
much,
so much.
Sigrid.